Hello and welcome to another edition of the Racing Post Postscript with myself, Sam Hanson, and Racing Post senior writer Lee Mottershead. We're stood here at the end of the final day of the 2019 Ebor Festival here at York, and it has been a fantastic 4 days. Today, of course, was the £1 million running, the first £1 million running of the Ebor itself. And Lee, what did you make of the winner's performance and the race itself?
Well, first of all, great that we had a £1 million Ebor. I've been a big supporter of the whole concept. I think it's a great thing, and I hope the race continues to flourish, as I'm sure it will. Quite a nice touch in that the winner, Mottershead, had finished fourth last year in their first £500,000 Ebor. Since then, connections had been dead set on trying to bring him back here and win this race. They managed to bring him back on the same mark as when he finished fourth last year, and Joe Lyons brought him here in peak condition, and the horse won a fiercely competitive handicap in good style. For Joe Lyons, it's a bittersweet in a sense, because that was the horse's final run for Joe. Not long before the race, the owner sold a controlling interest to Australian Bloodstock, a syndication company that does an awful lot of buying of European horses with a view to running them in the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups, and that relationship between this race and the Melbourne Cup will grow ever stronger. Amanda Elliott, who's chair of the VRC, the Victoria Racing Club that owns Flemington, was here for the 6th consecutive year. They would have been hoping that the winner of the Melbourne Cup the winner of the Ebor would go to the Melbourne Cup, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The horse will join the Chris Lee stable. But David Spratt, whose colours the horse ran in today, will still retain an interest in the horse. But he'd do well to better the pleasure he got from today. He absolutely adores York. He was fulsome in his praise of the place and fulsome in his praise of this race. He desperately wanted to win it, and he's won it, and in doing so, a 176-year-old race that was reborn today was won by Connections, who'd had a year-long plan to come back and win it, and that plan came off perfectly.
It is nice when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
You mentioned there you're very pleased to see that investment in the prize money for the Ebor. Do you think it will actually change the complexion of it in terms of the horses that run here?
Well, I mean, we already saw a change today in the sense that was the classiest ever Ebor. In the past, horses who were rated above 110 had to carry in excess of 9 stone 10, which made the race less attractive to them. Now it's an open handicap, just like the Grand National. Yep. It very much mirrors the Grand National in the sense that the Grand National, if you're the best horse of the race, you carry top weight, but you don't carry above 11 stone 10, you carry 11 stone 10. This race is mirroring that Grand National model. It mirrors the Melbourne Cup model, and I think it's a great thing. I think handicaps, these old famous handicaps, are in many ways what the racing public really love. They love to have a punting puzzle, and we should want to see the best stayers running in a race like this. It might impact on some pattern races in and around it. For me, that's a price worth paying. If we lose an odd horse here or there from the Geoffrey Fear, from the Lonsdale Cup, I want to see that. In the same way, we don't mind if a Gold Cup horse, a Gold Cup winner, instead of running in the Bowl at Aintree, runs in the Grand National. We celebrate the fact. And I would celebrate it if some of the creme de la creme of the staying crop ran in the Ebor. Today's Ebor didn't quite have those top Group 1 horse in it, but I think it might in the future, and if it does, I'll be applauding the fact.
And as you've said before as well, if you get more horses that then go on to Melbourne Cup as well, it's a great stepping stone for them.
Yeah.
Elsewhere on the card, we saw a fantastic battle between Lawrence and Shine So Bright. That was very close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a smashing finish. And of course, Lawrence is a smashing horse, and people love Lawrence. She's a 6-time Group 1 winner, and had she won today, she might have been, for some, the star of the show. She did nothing wrong down to 7 furlongs, but the victory this time went to Shine So Bright, who had been rested by Andrew Balding and King Power Racing since running in the 2000 Guineas. He came here a fresh horse, and for Andrew, another big win of the season, another big win for King Power Racing. Of course, the man missing out was Sylvester de Souza, King Power's retained jockey, who suffered an injury that will keep him out of action for around a month at Chelmsford on Friday. So a bad day in that sense for him, and one missed out, but the man who took advantage was James Doyle, who'd also won the Melrose for Yard with which he's more associated, William Haggis on Hamish earlier in the afternoon. So more wins for James Doyle, and I know you were keen to mention more wins at this meeting for Frankie Dettori today as well, or another winner for Frankie Dettori.
That's right, yes. He had a win on Forest of Dean, who's clearly a horse to keep on side, on the up. But yes, Frankie, fantastic week for him. He's still flying. It's been a terrific week, so what would be your highlight of the whole thing, the whole meeting?
It has been a fantastic week. We said at the start of the week in one of our earlier conversations that this was probably going to be the best ever Ebor festival. I think it's lived up to its billing. Batash has been given an official rating of 127 for his Nunthorpe win. Enable got 128 for for Yorkshire Oaks success. Crystal Ocean, who was second in the international, is still rated 127, which means the three unofficial best horses in the world all ran here at York this week. We've seen some marvellous racing. I think anyone will forget Enable's farewell to the track in Britain in the Yorkshire Oaks. That was a wonderful occasion. But I think as a racing highlight, you do well to beat Batash in the Nunthorpe Stakes. When you see an electric sprinter performing like that, it really is thrilling. Batash was sensational on Friday, and for me, he and obviously Enable were the two stars of a sensational 4-day Ebor festival.
It clearly was sensational. So sensational, in fact, that you even missed Stradivarius. It's got to be good racing for you to look across Stradivarius.
Stradivarius, Japan winning the international. This was so much good racing here. You know, Logician rose to clear ledger favouritism in the Voltager. This is a marvellous week, you know, and this is a marvellous racecourse. They do a tremendous job, this place. 70,000 minimum prize money for any race this week, fiercely competitive handicaps, red hot group races, all in an environment of a place where the locals here that come racing, they really know their racing, they get their racing, they appreciate their racing, they get well looked after by a racecourse that doesn't rip them off, and the whole package of this racecourse and this week is absolutely top class.
Top class indeed. Been quite long though. I'm ready for a break now.
Yeah, I've still not decided A1 or M1 on the way home, and where to have a stop on the way down. But we'll go home with smiles on our faces.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that always helps. We hope you've also got smiles on your faces. Thank you very much for joining us, and don't forget you can check out all the news and info on racingpost.com, or you can download the free Racing Post app, or indeed you can do it the old-fashioned way and go out and buy the Racing Post newspaper from your local newsagents. Join us again soon.